Hello everybody, my name's Ryan and I'm a driving instructor, and today 5 takeaways from the last 2 driving tests. So then, what's 5 takeaways from the last 2 driving tests? Well, before we get in the video, like, comment, subscribe, tell us what you thought. First things first, I didn't because I wasn't driving, but my pupil who passed on Tuesday had somebody behind them, somebody in front of them, sorry, who broke down, and they put a comment on the video and said, "Oh, broke down, how was the car that was in front of you, the coolant pipe?" Yeah, that's really unlucky, because if you break down on your driving test, you automatically fail. Could that be the first takeaway? Well, I suppose it could. So let's go for passenger princess superstar Danielle, #1 pupil, star of the Great North. Is there anything else I can add to that, Danielle? Probably. I can probably add another 25 titles to you because you keep adding things. Passed last week on the Friday, had a brilliant test, decent route, passed in Blythe, passed in her own car. Now this is quite important. Couple of takeaways from that driving test. First one was that she asked the driving examiner if she could put her music on while she was doing her driving test. I'm sorry about the rain as well, by the way. I recorded this in the rain. The examiner said that it's specific to driving examiners whether that examiner allows you to put music on or not. So it's up to the individual examiner. It's not up to you as a person, a candidate driving that car. The examiner did say, though, if you fail her as a result of lack of concentration because you're listening to music, that's on your head. And also that he didn't want it so loud that the instruction couldn't be heard, or the directions couldn't be heard. So can you have music on while you're doing the driving test? Well, it appears to be so, but I wouldn't be having it too loud. She had it quite low, to be fair, and actually you couldn't even sort of make it out. I don't record the audio for driving tests, but we'd done a few driver rounds and I took the audio out of the dash cam before the driving test, before I switched it off. There's a different dash cam, as we know, and actually you couldn't hear it anyway. So we couldn't hear that audio on a test. Then when we muted the audio, obviously you couldn't hear it anyway. She had it quite low. Yeah. Next takeaway from a driving test was on yesterday's driving test. She comes to the end of the road. She's not sure about the direction. A little bit of local knowledge maybe. But actually she said to the examiner, I'm sorry, I don't know which way I'm going to go. The examiner could have potentially done her for traffic signs, fail, serious error, direction, something along that line. But what the examiner said instead, and I've heard this on other exams, was just follow the signs. So she looked at the signs are telling her to turn left, so she just turned left. She got back and he said, if you hadn't followed the sign, if you decided to pull out and I'd duelled the car, if I'd stopped the car, you'd have obviously failed. And she went, yeah. So by following the signs, you're doing the right thing. Oh yeah, so I am. So I passed because of it. Going back to superstar princess passenger Danielle, super lesson fixer, diary organizer, star of the great world. Have I got any more superlatives for her? Yes, I'm being paid for that. No, not really. Another one was local knowledge. Now, we've been mentioning this a couple of times over the last few weeks because somebody had mentioned it in the comments about local knowledge. Do I need local knowledge on a driving test? Absolutely not. Because the examiners sometimes gives you that knowledge. She was coming up to the new Newsham roundabout flyover, and she's coming up to it, and the examiner said that at the roundabout, follow the road ahead. Except on that junction, quite clearly, it's to the right. So you would signal right. And I've been briefing that to my students. But when you actually look at the angles of the road, does the angle of the road actually kind of make it into a crossroads with the missing bit on the right hand side? And actually, potentially it does. So the examiner was correct. He was correct in saying you're just following the road naturally ahead. You're not turning left off a roundabout. You're going second exit. A little bit like the one before it. Technically it's on the right hand side, but the arrow doesn't point to the right. The arrow points straight on. But the sign says going over to the right. It's a little bit like that video I made about local knowledge, and it's pointing, the angle's pointing to the right, but are we really following the correct? So he actually gave her that information. Rain again. Sorry, rain. So she got that information for free. The examiner actually gave her that detail to say, oh no, you're following the road ahead at the roundabout. Oh, okay, fine. So she mirrored and signalled off the roundabout. The fourth takeaway from Superstar Danielle Princess Pasta, I'm not repeating it all, was moving off. So she's got that move off now. Yes. She's checking the blind spot on that side. As she's checking the blind spot on this side, the examiner's not quite noticing it, so that he stopped her on the left hand side, and he stopped her about 4 or 5 times, and 4 times he hasn't noticed that she's looking across. One more and it could have been potentially a fail. The reason it wasn't, and this is the reason the examiner gave, he says, right, moving off from the side of the road, there's nowhere anywhere in the books or anything or on the information, but when you're moving off you need to check over on the left hand side. He says your danger is over your shoulder on the right. Examiner's correct. Rear mirror, right mirror, over your shoulder, blind spot on the right hand side, signal gone, done, move away. That's quite logical, but he's saying, oh yeah, you checked all the way through the back of my head and you're looking over your shoulder. Do you really need to look all the way? You've only come to a stop. You've already identified your stop. You've already mirrored and said, should you look all the way? Well, as instructors, we insist on it. Because you should be doing it, shouldn't you? Well, yeah. To make yourself risk reduced or risk free, do your 6-point check. Nothing wrong with doing a 6-point check. We insist on it because when it comes to a manoeuvre, then you want people to do it. You want them to look in every piece of glass in and around the car. But the reality of it is, on a driving test, actually, all he wants is rear, right, over your shoulder. It's nice to have a look on the left hand side, and actually, I endorse doing that. You should look all the way around. But an examiner's guide for marking says something slightly different, and this is on the DVSA website as well, and I can't remember which category it's in. It there's all sorts of things about it using this. So there we go. Whilst on the highway, driving, dual carriageway, can I use my cruise control? Yes. You can use any device that's fitted to the car as long as you're using it properly. So the examiner, so I'm following the road, my cruise control, my lane assist is working, and I've got 3 seconds and I've dialed in 3 seconds and everything. Examiner wasn't bothered about it. He didn't really care. The reason the examiner didn't care is because if you misuse that technology, like you don't know how it works, she's literally told him, right, I've done this, I've done that, I've set myself up. She's having a look in the mirror, she's driving a car along the road, 60 miles an hour. Absolutely fine, nothing wrong with it. As long as you know how to use the technology, they don't care. Nothing wrong with that. You could potentially take a Tesla on a driving test. I made a video about it a long time ago about somebody taking a Tesla on a driving test. He couldn't fail him. The car did the route, not him. But actually, if you're checking all the way around and you're using the tech correctly, nothing wrong with it. Why not use it? Why not use that technology? Another one for you, and probably the last one. There are some more in there, but you know what? My brain's a bit foggy, and this is what I can just remember. So the last one was about doing the manoeuvre, and the person who'd done the driving test had said, and I can't remember if it was Danielle or whether it was Courtney. I can't remember. And they said, oh, I did that perfectly. It was in the bay. I did this or whatever it was, or the parallel. I can't remember which test it was. And they said that the examiner sort of stopped them. And I've had this before. So they were doing a park on the right reverse on this specific test, and they've gone quite far back, and the examiner just said, okay, are you finished? Now, of course, if you're not finished, you would say, no, I've got a little bit more to do. But actually, they'd reversed quite a long way, and he said, yeah, I'm okay there. Right, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to ask you to do that again. Move off when you're ready. That was it. And when they were doing their manoeuvre, they felt that, yep, that's right. I've looked down. Yep, I'm bad. Yep, bay done. Yes? So that was another takeaway. Well, little bits of information that are starting to come through from different pupils that are saying, this happened, or that happened, or this happened on a driving test, and this happened, and that happened. Yeah. Of course, what we want to do is drive correctly. We want to make sure that we're doing all the right things. We're happy with the car. Drive the car. Just do a driving test. Just follow the road. Again, sorry to the guy in front of us, or in front of my person, on the driving test at Gosforth the other day, where their car broke down right in front of us, and I put it in the comments as well. Unlucky. I'm sorry, but you instantly fail. If you have a crash, car breaks down, instant fail on a driving test. They've got a different button category where it gives us a serious error, which is an instant termination of the test. Doesn't mean the examiner's interacted, it just means that the car's broke for whatever reason. Technically, the engine management light could come on in mid-test, and you can still do the driving test. But if the engine management light's on before you start that driving test, any nails in any tyres, any bodywork missing, any bits of plastic missing, no L plates, no internal mirror, they will refuse the car for the driving test. So just keep that in mind for your future, if you're taking your own car. So, tell us what you thought about this video. Tell us what you thought about what's happened, and tell us this is just sort of cobbled together off what's happened over the last week. I've been quite busy and I've been unable to do it, and this rain's been horrendous, and some days you take people out and you think, am I going to be in the field in a minute? I haven't felt like that for a few weeks actually. This rain's been crap, but it could be worse. And we pray for the people in Florida who just got battered by that storm. They've had 2 in a row actually. And yeah, the people in Florida up, they recover soon, get everything back to normal. It's a mammoth task. Billions of dollars of damage there. Tough, all the wars around the world and that, people in plight, people much worse off than what we are. Have a fantastic day, evening, weekend, or whenever you're watching this. Like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.